It's another glorious day here in Kyoto. Timmy is still not feeling 100%, so today I'm doing castles and I'm at Nijo Castle. It's pretty hot and I'm going to want to stop for a cold drink at some point, so let's see what we find.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Alpos Food Travels and more of our exploits in Japan back in 2024. We're still in Kyoto here and I'm at Nijo Castle to have a wander around. It was huge and as I mentioned the day is stinking hot. I've taken out a lot of the audio of this video just so you don't have to listen to me constantly complain about how hot it was and how still the day was. There was barely a breeze. It was super humid. Possibly not the best day to go here because there was such limited shade. This is the front of the castle, or the main entrance, and you still have to walk over, queue up and get a ticket.
Huzzah! There we go. Did think about joining a tour. Everything is book in advance, book online. Let me just go and enjoy this and see what we find. Now, Timmy will know that I usually like knowing the history of things. So we'll see what I find out, but I'm not sure how much information I can give you whilst I'm just walking around. But we will see. Gates. Just beautiful. To help. Give me a minute to check this out.
So here I am inside the gates. I've picked up a brochure that gives you a map and a route to follow for the palace. You could get tours. I just wasn't in the mood. I needed to be able to go at my own pace because of the heat. And it was also possible to get audio tours, which looking back I'm a bit disappointed I didn't do because I love finding out the history of places, but I just didn't have an extra hand holding the camera and everything. I just one more device to worry about. It was too much for me on this hot day. But I still enjoyed what I got out of that little brochure. It was still very informative, if the writing was.
So I'm reading Shogun at the moment because I have to read the book before I watch the TV show. And there's lots of talk about the Osaka Castle, which I didn't see last year when we were here. But looking at this, I can really imagine what all the characters are talking about. So this is one of the watchtowers.
So I am actually in the outer ring of Nijo Castle at the moment, and I'm about to enter the gate to get through to Ninomaru Palace. As you can see, I'm skirting along the outside. I'm trying to find the most shady spot, but it's just not happening. This was the Karamon Gate, which is the main gate into the palace. It was really beautiful. It was very intricate. The detail on all the little facades was just amazing.
So that's the Karamon Gate. Which is the entrance to the palace. It's pretty impressive. I can photo myself in front of that.
So now I'm in the inner ring, heading towards the palace. This section of the palace was free to enter. You did have to take off your shoes and put slippers on. There was little compartments where you could leave your shoes, and you weren't allowed to film in there because it has been recognised as a World Heritage Site. So I'm guessing that too much artificial light is not allowed in there. But inside it was so hot and still. It was really difficult to appreciate it.
So I've just come out of the palace. We weren't allowed to film in there, and it was stifling. To be honest, I would have spent longer in there if it had been for the fact that it was so stinking hot. So now I think we're going for a walk in the gardens, which sounds very pleasant. Just finding my map. Where am I supposed to be going? Nijojocho Garden. Let's see. Please let there be shade. Not a lot of shade. Well, we'll do what we can. Oh wow. So you can see over there the outside of the palace. Swing it around a little moment so you can see. I mean, not all of it was open to the public, but looking at it from the outside, it felt quite a lot smaller on the inside. And I think that's just because of the way that they've sort of lined the tour. You go through a lot of little corridors. You don't get the feeling of spaciousness in there because everything's roped off. Oh. As much as I'd like to stay here by the water, I don't want to get bitten.
No, ma come stai su quella lastra lì? Su quella lastra lì? No, sopra la lastra lì. Sulla lastra lì? Sopra non è. Se stai vedendo il
It's a lurid shade of green, Dad. I'm sure you'd love to get in there and do some testings. I don't know if you can see the intricacies of detailing. It's pretty beautiful.
So the gardens are beautiful. Well, the pond water leaves a little bit to be desired. Might want to get my dad out there to do some tests, but it's beautiful. Apparently they're supposed to have cherry trees and Japanese plum, but at this time of the year it's obviously not blossoming. It's so hot and still. So moving around this area, we're about to leave the palace gardens and go into a section which is the Honmaru Goten, or Honmaru Palace. This was part of the original Kyoto Imperial Palace, and it got moved around back in the 1800s, and only part of it was moved to here. This is another area where you need a ticket, which I didn't purchase because I was just aware of my limits physically and mentally. And I wanted to be able to sort of come and go at my own pace. As you can see, it's not quite as pretty because they're doing some sort of reconstruction work here, I think, to the moat, maybe refortifying it. This area, the Honmaru Gate, was also a keep, so it was heavily built up as a way of protection. Moving out through the gate at the end, we go back into the gardens. I was looking for a cafe or a place to drink. There are sort of rest stops located around where you can buy a drink from a vending machine and sit on some benches to recuperate. There are actually 2 tea gardens in there. I found a cafe, but it was so packed and busy, I didn't even bother. And one thing I really regret about this day, as much as I regret not spending more time in the palaces or finding out more of the history, I really regret not getting a cold drink because it was just so stinking hot. But it was still worth it. I still enjoyed myself. And I really encourage anyone to go and experience at least one castle. They're just so different to the Western cultures, and they're just beautiful.